Guys, welcome to Crazy Burger. So we are continuing our series looking at all the Evercade carts on the Super Pocket. In this video we're going to be looking at carts 11 to 15. Some real good carts in here, but are they worth picking up for your Super Pocket? Let's find out. Okay guys, we're going to be looking at carts 11 to 15 on Evercade, on the compatibility, suitability on the Super Pockets. There's a few good collections here. Unfortunately, some of these are legacy carts as well, which we'll go through in the video. Without further ado, let's get started in the first collection. Okay, the first cart we're going to be looking at today is the first ever dual game cartridge on Evercade, which was Xeno Crisis and Tanglewood. Now you couldn't have got any more different types of games here. We've got a platformer and a kind of a shoot 'em up like Smash TV type of thing. Now you would probably struggle to get these games for less than maybe £40 to £50 on your original Mega Drive. They are relatively new retro style games from the last few years. So these are games from cart number 11. Two excellent titles. Now for me, I prefer Tanglewood, however I know a lot of people probably prefer Xeno Crisis, but both of these games are excellent in their own way. So let's have a look at both of them. Okay, something I wanted to point out, inside the Xeno Crisis and Tanglewood collection we have this don't miss out ever thing. Sign up to the evercade.co.uk website, but look at number 1, a monthly prize draw to win a new cartridge. I honestly don't remember that ever happening. Maybe it did, maybe it didn't, but I honestly can't remember it at all. So Tanglewood was definitely my favourite of the two games, but obviously that will be different for every single person. It's a really lovely platformer. It's not, obviously you could say it was a cutesy one, but it's certainly not really like that. It's got quite a dark sort of story going on through the game. It's got nice music. Unfortunately I feel as if the music could kick in a little bit more than it actually does. But it's still an absolutely brilliant game and I thoroughly enjoyed playing this one. At times relaxing, at times pretty stressful, kind of weird, but I loved it nonetheless. And I certainly would argue that it's one of the best Mega Drive games that I've ever actually played. I'm not sure that many people actually played through this from start to finish. I know I did, absolutely loved it. I didn't quite collect every Firefly, unfortunately. I missed a couple through the game, so I really probably should replay it at some point. Certainly gets pretty stressful at some points, that's for sure. Okay, next up is Xeno Crisis. Now this game is available on pretty much every platform now, from Xbox, PlayStation, the Switch, but I think the Evercade version is absolutely fantastic. I love the way it utilises the buttons for directional firing and obviously use the D-pad to move the character. You also, unfortunately, this game does utilise the shoulder buttons, but I'll talk about that in a second. It really is an excellent game, but unfortunately, yeah, it does utilise the shoulder buttons. I think the left L1 button is roll, and then the R1 button you chuck a grenade, such as that. But yeah, it's not the most difficult one to actually reach to, and given the fact you'd only use it now and again in the game, it's probably not a big deal. But just thought I'd highlight that the shoulder buttons are used in this game. You could probably just ignore the shoulder buttons and just try and play through it. So stressful you probably would forget anyway. I've run out. So guys, for me this collection is a must have for your Super Pocket. You really have to have this in your collection. It is really good. Two of the best games you will find on Evercade or even on your Super Pockets. Absolutely fantastic stuff. Don't miss it. Certainly quite hard though, but it's brilliant. You always try and use the cheat mode, but you'll never see the proper ending. Okay, next up it's the Oliver Twins collection. Now sadly this is no longer being manufactured by Blaze, however you might be able to still pick it up somewhere. If in doubt you'll probably find it on eBay for a ridiculous amount of money. But it's certainly a really cool cart. It's 11 games. Obviously for me I would probably call it the Dizzy collection more or less. So this was the collection that got me involved into Evercade in the first place. It was announced sometime in 2020 and as soon as I saw the announcement I knew I had to get involved into Evercade, which meant obviously going back and collecting all the carts that were already released. This was only May 2020 I think, sometime about then. This is cart number 12. Yeah, it's mostly Dizzy games and I think the majority are all NES. I was a little bit disappointed that ideally would have liked the computer versions of Dizzy, but nonetheless there's some really excellent games here. If you don't like Dizzy games you're not going to enjoy this cart, but for me I absolutely love playing through these Dizzy games all over again. Anyway, let's have a look at some of these games now. Okay, the Oliver Twins collection. Now obviously there's a few games on here that are not Dizzy, so maybe we should look at them first. This is the BMX simulator, which is pretty tough. Absolutely brilliant. Not so sure. Anyway, let's have a look at this one first. Now, I'm pretty sure most of these are NES versions. This one's actually a pretty reasonable version of this. I'm pretty sure it was really hard on the sort of home computers. But yeah, still really hard on here too. Don't touch a thing. I think at times it's really quite a frustrating game to get a grips with. As you touch anything, you will sort of crash, die instantly. I'm already a lap behind. Very tough game to play, but it does look nice on the Super Pocket. Okay, so next up there are obviously maybe 4 Dizzy, obviously standard Dizzy games. Some of them I'm not really that keen on. Dream World Pogie is fantastic, but let's have a look at that before we jump into a Dizzy game. This could be one of the best games on the collection. It's fantastic. There are only 16 levels, I think, 15 or 16. Collect all the stars, or as many as you can, and get to the exit. It's as simple as that, yeah, and it looks and plays fantastic on the Super Pocket. It's great fun. Okay, we've also got Firehawk, which is a kind of a top-down shooter, kind of like Jungle Strike, except nowhere near as good. Not really that much of a fan of that. There is also sort of Dizzy games that are not quite Dizzy. Let's have a look at this one. This one kind of reminded me of Fast Food, I think it was. A little bit like that. Basically, you're collecting all the sort of stuff in the grid here. Pretty straightforward. Collect them in the flashing order for more points. Pretty straightforward, and it really looks nice. I guess the colours clash a little bit though for me, and it does make it a little bit trickier to look at. But still, it's good fun, and on the Pocket this feels really nice. Oh, who's going to get there first? Not me, not me, not me. Oh, yes, just made it. Dizzy wins. Okay, let's have a look at Mystery World Dizzy. Now, I'm not going to go through every Dizzy game because pretty much they're more or less the same, apart from one, which I'll obviously go over. This is probably my favourite one of the Dizzy games on here. Now, if you obviously remember the... Oh, let me turn this down a bit. So if you probably remember the computer versions, this is actually Fantasy World Dizzy. And it was obviously renamed to be Mystery World Dizzy for the NES version over in the States. Not sure why they done that, but they did. Confusing? Yep, totally. Yeah, this is definitely probably my favouriteest Dizzy game on here. Really enjoyed playing through it. There is text in the game and it's just about readable. Yeah, just be careful of those damn spiders. Okay, there's also Dizzy Panic, which I'm not really keen on. I didn't really think that was great. There's Super Robin Hood, which is kind of quite cool. Looks nice on this device. The Fantastic Adventures of Dizzy, that's the one I don't like the most, to be honest. Treasure Island Dizzy, let's have a look at that. That's pretty good. But that's one of those games that you only get one life, so you need to brutalise those save states. I think this was the first one I completed on this collection, given the fact it was the first game that came up when you put in the cart on the original handheld. But beware, you only have one life. Think how it was back in the day. without save states. Oh. Impossible. Anyway, excellent stuff. I do love myself a Dizzy game. There's Wonderland Dizzy, that's pretty good as well, and that's it. But yeah, let's move on to the next collection. A really good collection, guys. I would highly recommend it if you loved your Dizzy back in the day. If you didn't, I'm not sure this will convert you any. Anyway, it's a good collection. I would recommend it for your Super Pocket, if you can pick it up at a decent price. Okay, next collection is Atari Lynx Collection 1, and just much like the other Atari collections, this one will be out of manufacture at the end of 2023. So if you're looking to pick this up, I would hurry and get these before they stop making them, and you'll struggle to find them at a decent price. So we've got 17 games in this first collection. So this is collection number 13, unlucky for some. It's a strange old mix. There's some really good games on here, some really bad ones. Yeah, it's a good mix of what was on the Atari Lynx. I can't remember how many games there was, maybe 70 odd, perhaps. Maybe it's more than that. Maybe I'm thinking television, I don't know. But there wasn't a lot of games, and I'm pretty sure we've got probably round about the best ones on the two collections for Atari Lynx. But let's have a look at some of these games now. Right, Atari Lynx Collection 1. Now let's have a look at the first game, Awesome Golf. Now this is currently the only golf game on Evercade. There is Ninja Golf, which I don't know if that really counts as a proper golf game. But this one is actually pretty decent. If you love golf, this is the collection to buy. I played quite a lot of this a few years ago when it was first released. Really enjoyed it. Pretty straightforward to play through, and yeah, I like it. It's good. Just not very good with the timings though. Oh, that's actually a pretty decent shot. Not lost any of my touch. Unfortunately, it doesn't tell you how far the actual irons and woods hit the ball, so you kind of have to guess a little bit. I'm not sure if the original manual does tell you that, so you probably need to familiarise yourself with how far each club would go. I think it kind of mirrors real life a little bit, I guess. If you play golf, then you might know how far certain clubs will actually hit the ball. Oh, that's heading for the bunker. Oh, I'm too short. Yep, I think I was a club too short. So we're obviously in the bunker or the sand trap. Ooh. Ah, too hard. Yeah, it's definitely quite tricky, but once you get used to it, I think that's actually a really decent golf game indeed. I quite enjoyed this one. Obviously something I want to highlight here is I'm playing these games full screen. Now, obviously the aspect ratio of the Lynx was a wee bit different, I think. So if you put the original aspect ratio on, it gives you top and bottom borders. Obviously that's really a personal choice. I think you can get away with it for most part playing full screen. Which is absolutely fine. It really is a personal choice, I think. So this is full screen. It does look a little bit stretched, I guess, but it's not too bad. You can just about get away with it. But yeah, this game does have a little bit of glitching, which I'll hopefully try and show in this video, which isn't in the EXP version. I don't know when it was kicking in, but I've seen glitching, especially on this level. Yeah, you can see it now. It's glitching for some reason. Not entirely sure what's going on there and why it's glitching, because it definitely does not happen on the EXP, but it does seem to randomly glitch here, as you've probably seen. Not sure what's going on, so it may be a problem with the game there, and it kind of is a little bit off-putting, so I'm not sure what's happening there. Yeah, you can see it again. So just as a comparison, this is obviously the EXP. If the sound has turned up a little bit more, I've not noticed any glitching, and I don't remember any glitching the first time I played this. So yeah, there's definitely a problem there with this collection on the Super Pocket for some reason. Actually, looking at the two screens, I think it actually looks better on the Super Pocket. It looks a little bit more blocky on the EXP, given the fact it's obviously a larger screen, but on the Super Pocket, I think it definitely suits the little devices much better than the EXP. But yeah, that glitching is a little bit annoying. Okay, let's move on. We'll try Crystal Mouse. Hopefully we won't see any more glitching. Not sure what's going on there. In my testing beforehand, I definitely didn't notice any glitching in other games, so hopefully that is a one-off. But I guess sometimes you won't actually notice everything unless you play them for quite some time. So I'm not entirely sure what was going on with that game. This game's actually really good fun and looks great on the Super Pocket. Certainly one of those ones you would highly recommend to play through. Okay, moving on. This is Cyber Virus. Now this probably is known as probably the first person shooter on Evercade. However, I really don't see it as a first person shooter at all. And I really don't enjoy playing it much either. It's a little bit of a clunky mess, to be honest. I kind of feel this game there's a lot of aimless wandering about and not really sure what you're supposed to do or where you're supposed to go. Yeah, and I kind of just get completely bored with it. You get random robots shooting at you from nowhere, which is happening right now. Where is he? Oh, there he's there. Oh. Yeah, I'm not really that keen on this one at all. It looks nice enough, but yeah, I think it needs a little bit of work to make it enjoyable and at least playable. But I'm pretty sure it has its fans out there. I just couldn't get into this one at all. Okay, we've got Dracula the Undead now. I'm not really sure this is perfect for any handheld, even the Lynx back in the day. Kind of a point and click adventure. The start of the game does take forever to get going. But at least we can actually read the text. It's actually fine on the device here. Now eventually when the game starts get going, it's obviously you move the character with D-pad, easy enough. And the sprites are big enough. But yeah, it's definitely a little bit clunky to be enjoyable for me. I never really enjoyed playing through it. Obviously you get your different options that you can choose from. But yeah, Okay, we've got Gordo, which is a sort of platforming game. It's pretty weird. Ishido the Way of the Stone's a very odd sort of puzzle style game, and the laughably bad Jimmy Connors Tennis.
Hi, I'm Jimmy Connors. Welcome to the Bell and Country Club.
Thanks, Jimmy.
Okay.
What the hell's going on here? I don't know. But anyway, this game is laughably bad. Yeah, let's play tennis. Let's try. I think one of the difficult things in this game is just trying to hit the ball is an absolute mission in itself, and it just takes the whole enjoyment away from the game completely, which is a shame. It looks alright, but try to hit the ball, forget it. Even sometimes missing the serve is kind of laughable too. No, absolutely no chance. Could be here all day and I'd hit nothing. Yep, not even the serve. Okay, we've got loops, which is a kind of a nice puzzle game. Let's have a quick look at that. And here we go, you've got your different shapes where you need to try and make kind of a loops. You can swivel them about. Yeah, do you know, it's alright, it's okay. Oops, I've just got rid of that one, didn't mean it. And there you go, make a loop, get rid of them, and keep on going. You've got a limited time to put the parts in as well. Down onto the screen. Might be quite addictive. I'm not really sure I like the fact that it's always counting down. It kind of puts a stress to this game that doesn't really need to be there, and I've just screwed up. But yeah, it's alright, it's playable. Okay, we've got the volleyball game, not really sure about that. Got a pointless mega pack game. There's some secret games in there if you're wanting to delve into that. There's Power Factor, which is alright, I guess. We've got Remnant Planet Wars, or Planner Wars. Scrapyard Dog, which is alright, but it's kind of frustrating to play through. We've got Asteroids and Missile Command. Arguably this is probably the best versions of these two games on here. We've got Super Squeak and Zump, which is a kind of a puzzle game. Let's have a quick look at that. But yeah, it's an interesting collection of games. I've not noticed any more glitching apart from the Basket Brawl game, so not sure what's going on there. So this is pretty basic. You're just trying to get to the other side and sort of removing all those platforms. Kind of a bit like the Romeo's Tale game we've got as well. I'm pretty sure some of these games were inspired from a lot of these titles too. It gets a little bit trickier as you go, as you would probably expect. And yeah, you can die pretty easy. Okay, this is Atari Lynx Collection 2, and for me this is probably the better collection, even though it only has 8 games. I feel as if the game selection on this one is definitely better than the other one. This is cart number 14. Now, interestingly, with this collection, there was a reversible cover. Some people might have the actual California Games one on the cover here instead of Chips Challenge. I'm pretty sure you might still be able to pick up from Argos in the UK, but I'm not sure. But some people might have a different cover than you see here, which is kind of cool. So 8 games. We've got California Games, Chips Challenge, Todd's Adventures in Slime World, Blue Lightning, Zarlor Mercenary, Checkered Flag, Electro Cop and Gates of Zindicon. A really good mix of games there. Let's have a look at some of them now. Okay, Atari Lynx Collection 2 then. Let's have a look at the excellent Blue Lightning. This is certainly one of the better looking games on the Atari Lynx collections, and arguably the second cart is probably better than the first. I'm pretty sure this was a launch title for the Lynx, if I recall. I'm pretty sure I remember playing it in stores at some point on a demo unit on the big massive Atari Lynx. Gladly, the Super Pocket is certainly much easier to hold in your hand than Atari Lynx was. You can see this looks fantastic on this device. Ooh. Anyway, that's an excellent game, really enjoyable. It does get quite hard though, sometimes it's not massively clear what you're supposed to be doing. Still, very good game. Let's crash just for the sake of it. Can we? Can we? Okay, let's move on to the classic California Games. I know a lot of people love this game, but yeah, I've never really enjoyed it in any system at all. And arguably this is probably the best version on Evercade. We've got the C64 version, which does have more events. But I think this is probably more fun to play than that version. Oh wait, did I just say this was fun? Slip of the tongue. Oh, lots of skill there. I'm entirely convinced it was not deliberate. That was deliberate. So, yeah, I just remembered why I don't like this game. And obviously what the games are most known for is these excellent the excellent surfing, which I'm absolutely useless at. Yeah, I've never been good at this. I think the trick is really trying to build up a speed before you try any sort of skills, otherwise you'll probably just wipe out. I've just been always rubbish at it. Nope. There's Checkered Flag, which is quite a cool racing game. Now this device does use the shoulder buttons, but I think it's just for pause purposes, that's all. I think one of the buttons does pause the game for some reason. Let's just do a quick practice game. See, it looks fantastic, but it is pretty tricky to play. Okay, we've got the fantastic Chips Challenge, which I absolutely adore. I just wish there wasn't any time limit in the game, because that just puts a frustration there that just seems completely unnecessary to me. But it's an excellent puzzle game nonetheless, and again arguably could be the best version of Chips Challenge out there on any system, and it was released on pretty much everything under the sun, from C64, Amiga, ST, you name it, it was released for them. Absolutely fantastic puzzler. And yeah, you guessed it, we're collecting all the chips, but there's a lot more to it than just collecting chips. There's certainly so many different things going on. There's enemies, there's horrible puzzle, there's time limits. Yeah, I wish that wasn't there, because I think this game would be more enjoyable if that time limit wasn't there. It feels completely unnecessary to me. But yeah, that's what it is. Still a very good game. Okay, we've also got Electrocop, which is weird as hell. We've got Gates of Zendikon, which is a shooter, which looks pretty decent on here. Slime World, and we got Zarlon Mercenary. That's another shooter. Slime World is actually quite cool, but I have no clue what's going on. And it looks fantastic on here. Nice and colourful, nice and slimy, nice and weird. As I say, not got a clue what's going on, what you're supposed to do. It just confuses the heck out of me. I'm pretty sure I've wandered about these slimy caverns for maybe an hour or two, and I really still don't know what I'm doing. So if someone does know, let me know. Certainly a nice game though. I've always enjoyed playing it, but I just wished I knew what the heck I was supposed to do. Okay, last collection for this video. This is Jaleco Collection 1. It comes complete with 10 games, and this is cart number 15. And there's a nice selection of games here. Probably one of the most underrated collections on Evercade. I certainly prefer the later Jaleco Arcade collection, but this one isn't bad at all. We've got Astyanax, Bases Loaded, Brawl Brothers, City Connection, Earth Defence Force, Operation Logic Bomb, Rival Turf, Super Go 2, The Ignition Factor, and Totally Rad. Let's have a look at some of them now. Okay, let's have a look at Jaleco Collection 1, and then we might as well just go straight into Astyanax. Not really a big fan of this game, but I can definitely appreciate that this device is perfect for this game. The colours absolutely pop. Does a lot of flickering in the game, but that's nothing to do with the Super Pocket. That's just the NES version we have here. And yeah, I'm absolutely pants at this game. Oh, I hate this, but I always forget that jumps out. Okay, we've got Bases Reloaded. Basically, it's a baseball game. I think it might even be the only one on Evercade. It's alright. We've got Brawl Brothers. It's a decent beat 'em up. Let's have a look at that. This is really cool beat 'em up. I don't think it's the best beat 'em up on the collection. To be honest, I think I prefer the other one, Rival Turf. But yeah, this is pretty good. I think this one's just a little bit harder to play through, but it's pretty good. I've got City Connection as well, which is really good. This is definitely a mixture of NES and SNES games, I think. Can't honestly remember which ones are which. I know this is definitely the NES version. And I really like this game. I think it's fantastic, and arguably it could be better than the arcade version. Certainly NES got a lot of really good arcade versions, especially around this time period. Oh, that damn cat. Okay, we've got Earth Defence Force, which actually looks fantastic on this device too. Again, not a big shoot 'em up fan, but I think this looks good. Now, I think shooters, especially this aspect ratio and sort of horizontal shooters, I think this looks brilliant. It certainly makes me want to play more, even though I'm not very good at them. This one definitely gets pretty tricky though. But on this device, this is good, really good stuff. Okay, we've got Operation Logic Bomb, which is kinda cool as well. We've got Rival Turf, which is another beat 'em up. I think this one's actually better than Brawl Brothers, to be honest. And yeah, I've updated my cartridge via the VS, and it's now actually Rushing Beat, which was the better Japanese version. Now, arguably this could certainly be one of the best beat 'em ups on Evercade. Obviously if you've got the Capcom version, you'll have Final Fight, which yeah, that's absolutely fantastic. But there's certainly a decent few beat 'em ups on Evercade, and this is definitely one of the best ones. For me, that's just my personal opinion. Okay, we've got Super Go and Ignition Factor and Total Rad. Let's have a quick look at Super Go. Not really a particularly great football game in my opinion. Certainly one of the most unusual things about this, it's got this kind of top-down view, which I don't think really works. Certainly wasn't that many games utilised this viewpoint, and you can probably see why. It makes it very tricky to play. Yeah, never really got into this one, unfortunately. Okay, we've got the ignition factor and total rad. We'll just have a quick bash at the ignition factor before we finish the video. So this is a very cool, maybe even slightly underrated game. We're obviously trying to rescue the people from this burning building and try and put out the fires if you possibly can. Not really sure it's worth trying to put out all the fires because it just gets really frustrating. Maybe better off just trying to rescue all the people that are trapped in the building here. Running leap to my death. Okay guys, that's our look at carts 11 to 15. I'd say most of these are almost must-have titles, and there's some really great games in amongst that, especially Xeno Crisis and Tanglewood, and the Atari Lynx collections are pretty good as well. But obviously that's your choice what you want to pick up on your Super Pocket. Some games are certainly better than others. But yeah, look forward to the next video. Is going to be carts number 16 to 20. Thanks for watching. Catch you again in the next one. Bye for now.